So Elizabeth Warren decided to throw some haymakers at Fox News a couple days ago. This is interesting for a variety of reasons. Here's what she said. I love town halls. I've done more than 70 since January, and I'm glad to have a television audience be a part of them. Fox News has invited me to do a town hall, but I'm turning them down. Here's why. Fox News is a hate-for-profit racket that gives a megaphone to racists and conspiracists. It's designed to turn us against each other, risking life and death consequences, to provide cover for corruption that's rotting our government and hollowing out our middle class. Hate-for-profit works only if there's profit, so Fox News balances a mix of bigotry, racism, and outright lies with enough legit journalism to make the claim to advertisers that it's a reputable news outlet. It's all about dragging in ad money, big ad money. But Fox News is struggling as more and more advertisers pull out of their hate-filled space. A Democratic town hall gives Fox News sales team a way to tell potential sponsors it's safe to buy ads on Fox. No harm to their brand or reputation. Spoiler, it's not. Here's one place we can fight back. I won't ask millions of Democratic primary voters to tune into an outlet that profits from racism and hate in order to see our candidates, especially when Fox will make even more money adding our valuable audience to their ratings numbers. I'm running a campaign to reach all Americans. I take questions from the press and voters everywhere I go. I've already held town halls in 17 states and Puerto Rico, including West Virginia, Ohio, Georgia, blah, 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 blah. I've done 57 media avails and 131 interviews, taking over 1,100 questions from press just since January. Fox News is welcome to come to my events, just like any other outlet, but a Fox News town hall adds money to the hate-for-profit machine, to which I say, hard pass. Now, we spoke about this a little bit when it came to the DNC, and we spoke about this when it came to Bernie's town hall. Now, I said from the beginning, particularly in the DNC story, do I get the idea why, the DNC wouldn't want to host Democratic debates on Fox News? I actually do get that. Because, listen, it's a fair argument to make to say they're not honest actors. The whole point is going to be to try to lie and smear and mislead with the debate questions. So why pretend like it's a legitimate outlet when it indeed is not a legitimate outlet? And so, in other words, I was fine with the DNC saying we're not going to host debates there. Totally fine. But I also said in the same commentary that I understand the other side of the argument too. And the other side of the argument is it's not about the network. It's about all the people watching. And why not go into their house and destroy them on their terms and on their grounds? Because there's nothing that's stronger than that. There's nothing that's, more powerful than that. And the people in the audience are going to watch, and I think, what's the number? 33% of the audience are either independent or Democratic leaning on Fox News. So yes, it's overwhelmingly right-wing, but 33% of the audience, that's a large number of people. And even the people who don't agree with you will say, well, credit to going into the lion's den. So I understand both sides of that argument. Now, here's why ultimately I totally disagree with Elizabeth Warren. Even in deciding not to go on Fox News, I think her argument sucks. Like, again, it's one thing if she put front and center this idea that, well, they're dishonest and they're going to mislead on purpose and they're going to smear on purpose and they're just not on the up and up. They're not honest actors, so I don't want to lend them legitimacy. I would have agreed with that argument if she made that argument, but she didn't make that argument. Her argument was they're hateful and they're bigoted and they're racist and that's why you don't engage with them. Liz, I got news for you. There are plenty of people in the country who are racist. And if Fox News was magically off the air from an advertiser boycott, spoiler alert, they won't be. It's a total waste of time and it's not going to fucking achieve anything, okay? But even assuming, okay, let's say it works. Let's say the ad boycott works. What do you think's going to happen? Will there be no other far right-wing outlet that pops up and no other outlet that caters to bigots? No, it will literally always be there. And if it wasn't Fox News, guess what? It would be the even worse One America News Network, which prides itself on being to the right of Fox News. So when she puts front and center an argument of they're bigots, they're racist, they're a hate-for-profit network, and I don't want to lend them legitimacy, well, but you actually should engage with racists and bigots and basically try to destroy that ideology, knowing full well you're not going to convince the majority of them, but you need to get that argument out there into the ether. That needs to be out there. If everybody took this approach of like, they're bigots, so we're not engaging, well, then you would literally have no responses to bigoted arguments, and the bigots would run around with their chest puffed out, acting like, see? They can't destroy us in the battle of ideas, so therefore our bigotry is totally logical and rational. No, actually, your bigotry is stupid, and there should be strong, intelligent voices there to point out and explain exactly why it's stupid. Maybe not to change your mind, because there are plenty of too far gone people, but there are plenty of fucking fence sitters out there who are kind of slowly falling into that ideology. Take a look at a guy like Destiny, a Twitch streamer, who's a lefty, and he's done these debates with literal, like, race realists, the people who obsess about race and IQ all day. And when these people were presented with somebody who knows what the fuck they're talking about, they look ridiculous and they look incredibly stupid. And there have been countless stories of people who said, listen, I was going down that alt-right rabbit hole and then I was shaken out of it by a strong showing from somebody who could bust up their arguments. So when Elizabeth Warren argues like, well, it's because they have a lot of hate on that network that I'm not going on, that's more of a reason you should go on. Again, if you made the argument that they're disingenuous and that's why I don't want to lend them legitimacy, is that they're not being honest actors, that's one argument, and I'm sympathetic to that argument, because when you're engaging with a smear merchant, you are lending them a certain amount of credibility where you're saying, okay, I've given you enough respect to show up here, and then you're still going to smear and do all that terrible stuff that you shouldn't do. But in terms of just saying, oh, they're bigots and they do hate, so that's why I want to get out of there, no, that's not a good enough reason, because we're always going to need to fight back against hateful ideologies. And the way to fight back against those ideologies is to confront them head on. Now, that's not the only reason why I disagree with Elizabeth Warren here. She also is pretty clearly taking an underhanded shot at Bernie Sanders with the way that she went on that tweet storm and the way she worded it. I mean, when she starts saying, well, I think it was the last tweet. Let's see. No. Here's one place we can fight back. Third to last tweet. Here's one way we can fight back. I won't ask millions of Democratic primary voters to tune into an outlet that profits from racism and hate in order to see our candidates, especially when Fox will make even more money adding our valuable audience to their ratings numbers. That's her taking a shot at Bernie Sanders and basically saying, like, how dare you go, on Fox News and basically prop them up and bring your audience to Fox News. How could you, Bernie? Elizabeth Warren is not engaging in the world that actually exists. She's not accepting the world that exists and trying to change it on the grounds that are already there. She's creating a world in her head about how she wants it to be and then throwing a tantrum like a petulant child and refusing to engage with it in the reality-based world. I wish the world was like this, so now I'm going to act as if that's the case. Whereas Bernie's saying, yeah, I get it. There's a lot of people out there who don't agree with us. There's a lot of people out there who are bigots. There's a lot of people out there who, think I'm terrible. I don't care. I'm going to go and I'm going to try to change their minds. And if I succeed, great. If I don't, whatever, it's fine. At least I did everything I could. Whereas she's looking at it more from the perspective of a fake virtue signaling moral stand. Like, oh, do you feel good about yourself now? You basically told a giant audience to go fuck off. That's the kind of shit. See, that's the kind of shit where it actually will hurt with crucial voters in Rust Belt states. And I'm not just talking about the bigoted voters, by the way. I'm talking about independent voters, right-leaning voters. She thinks it's like a courageous stand. This only appears to be a courageous stand with the tiniest sliver of lefties. Whereas most people are going to look at this and go, pretty weak. Again, I would get it if she made a different argument. She put the argument front and center of, they're just not a legit outlet, full stop. and they're not honest actors, full stop. Like, I get that, because they're not, and they're going to try to trip you up on purpose. They're not really interested in the battle of ideas, so I get that. I get that argument, but she didn't really make that argument. She said they're racist, they're bigots, they're a hateful outlet, so therefore I'm not going to prop them up. They're already propped up, Liz. That's the point. The point is they're already, doesn't matter whether you go or not, they're already the number one rated news network, okay? That's what they are. So either you go and engage, or you just continue to let them spew their propaganda unabated, with no response whatsoever. So it's not like you don't come across as like a brave truth teller here. You come across as like a petty authoritarian virtue signaler who's like, yeah, you're bad people, so like I'm out of this. There's a lot of bad people in the world, Liz. You want to just let them all go on and continue to be bad, or you want to try to chip away and maybe change some of their minds? We know what Bernie did, and by the way, it worked. Bernie's best performance yet was on Fox News. Best performance yet. So, yeah. Listen, I honestly, I swear to you all, I would not be doing this segment if she used the other argument. Go back and look at my commentary on the DNC. I was kind of sympathetic when I said, hey, listen, they don't want to lend them legitimacy because they don't think they're honest actors. Fine. But that was a different argument that the DNC made. The argument Liz is making is a shitty argument. You're always going to have to engage and try to fight back against bigotry and xenophobia and racism. We're always going to be fighting that battle. And what she said is, no, I'm not going to fight that battle, and I'm going to pretend like that makes me morally superior. It's not even close to morally superior. That's weak. If it wasn't Fox News, it would be One American News Network, and they're even worse. Fox News is not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere, bro. They're not going anywhere. No matter how much people doing this ad boycott think they're making a dent, they're not making a dent. And again, even if they did make a dent, that's when the worst network steps in, One American News Network. There's always going to be CEOs of giant corporations with a gazillion dollars who support that kind of nonsense, hateful, terrible message. So there's always going to be some ad money for outlets like this. You're not going to be able to like shame out of existence people with gross ideologies. Gross ideologies will always exist. So we always have to fight back against them. Yeah, not cool. And really fucking annoying that she threw Bernie under the bus as well with an underhanded attack there. And by the way, you think I'm the only one making this point? Only the tiniest sliver of the left supported her on this. People like Zerlina Maxwell and Neera Tanden. Oh yes, how brave of Elizabeth Warren to run away, yes. They're the only people. Fucking The View. All the hosts on The View were like, I mean, that is kind of disrespectful to that giant swath of Americans who watch this number one rated network. Well, you think it's going to get you votes? You think it's just a positive thing? I mean, come on. It's childish is what it is. Trump did this shit too during the debates. And know what we all did? We mocked him. He said, Megyn Kelly's being unfair to me and she's going to be the moderator of one of the debates, so I'm not going. Megyn Kelly's going to be there and she's unfair to me. What kind of weak fucking... So, in other words, it's weakness and she tries to pretend... He tried to pretend like it's strength. It's deeply weak, and he tries to pretend like, I'm so macho for doing this. It ain't macho. It ain't brave. It's actually kind of pathetic. And the same thing applies to Elizabeth Warren. If she made a better argument, then I would not be doing this segment. But her argument was just really shitty.